Okay, everyone, I hope you're ready for this because it's going to be a lot of fun. The collective consciousness and the higher self are concepts that took me about 6 months to integrate into my thinking. So there's no way I expect you guys to believe me or adopt this way of thinking after just one video. I'm really good at pissing myself off with these theories and philosophies, but then I have too many personal experiences to deny them any longer. So after experiencing so many occurrences of the higher self and the collective consciousness personally, in readings, hanging out in my condo, etc., I have been instructed by my friends on the other side, also known as the angelic realm, to create this video for all of you fine folks to educate you on what's going on. Now, the most important part that I want to let you guys know before you feel like pressing stop is don't forget, I'm going to tell you how this benefits you, how you can make the collective consciousness work for you, to your benefit. So please try to keep an open mind. I feel like I was pulled out of the Hunger Games dome, explained how everything worked, and sent back in to teach everybody this stuff. So bear with me. I know it's weird. I'm the first one to admit that. Okay, number one, we like containment. We feel comfortable, like our soul is contained within our body. We feel comfortable knowing that. That's not entirely true. We have a part of our soul that lives outside the body, on the other side. It's called the higher self. Now, let me explain to you how it works. We've got the divine up here, and this guy is just pure love. I've channeled him a few times, and it's the most overwhelming love energy I've ever felt. This guy can knock me to my knees, I'll tell you that much. All right, so this is me in my most angelic form, living on the other side. This is my higher self, okay? And this is my lower self, Christine Pavlina. What's the difference, okay? What's the difference? Down here, I've got doubt, fear, pride, ego, jealousy, insecurity, all sorts of fun stuff that make me the imperfect being that I am. I have embarrassment. I get embarrassed, right? And then I have insecurity. Okay, so, Essie. Okay, so my lower consciousness has all this stuff, right? This is the part of me that lives on the other side. She doesn't have any of this, which is why I constantly have problems as a messenger, as a medium, working with the angelic realm, because they don't acknowledge any of this. If I sit here and whine to them and complain about these types of situations when I'm supposed to deliver a message, they just sit there, cock their angelic heads to the side and say, but we don't understand. If you're able to help people, why won't you do it? So this is the difference between the lower self and the higher self, really right here. Now the higher self is concerned with the purpose of the soul. And I gotta be honest, like that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously they're gonna protect you. They're concerned with your survival, and they're gonna protect you if you're about to get into a car accident or something. But this is really what they're all about, is the purpose of the soul, okay? Now the lower self is concerned with desires of the personality. Should I get this tattoo? What do I want for dinner? So there have been times where I have asked my higher self, like, should I do this? Should I do that? And she's literally like, I don't care, do whatever you want. Because she's really only concerned about the purpose of the soul, right? So she's also concerned about your soul growing, learning lessons, experiencing love, giving love, healing your purpose. Because the whole reason you're here is for your soul to grow. So that's really why your higher self is here, for the general path, okay? Now, what I want to do is tell you what's going on. How does your higher self work for you, right? This is the difference between the higher self and the lower self. And these two are connected, okay? These two are connected. God, my colleagues and I discuss this all the time. Personal experiences. What have you been experiencing? What have you been experiencing? We discuss this all the time. The connection, this beautiful, beautiful connection between the higher self and the lower self. What is it? How much influence does your higher self have over your lower self, right? The part of you that lives on the other side, that's directly connected to the divine. How much influence do you have? These are thoughts, feelings, inclinations, compulsions, And really, I just want to say influence. Influence, because you influence your higher self influences you. You're connected. You're completely connected. Okay, so I, as a lower consciousness, have tuned into my higher self before, and I have made my higher self cry. She was fine when I first tuned in, and me with my anxiety and completely freaking out about stuff, I have actually made her cry. Why? Because we're energetically connected. Now, how energetically connected are we? It really depends on the individual. Are you an attorney that goes into court every day that has to keep a wall up? Do you have to be quick on your feet for the judge and jury? You might be a little more shut down, a little less spiritual and meditative. Whereas like a sensitive musician type who's able to express themselves creatively all the time, be a little more open, a little more meditative, reflective, pensive, a little more connected to their higher self. Just because their energy is a little more open and they're allowed to bring their wall down and be vulnerable and express themselves. So that's the difference. Like I said, really depends on the individual, how well connected you are to your higher self and how much the higher self is truly able to influence you. I channel people's higher selves because I have the ability to channel the living. I channel people's higher selves in my readings, and it's always different. It's always like the higher self will tell me, yeah, I can do that. No, I can't do that, because I'll put in requests, right? Hey, can you have her dad start treating her better? Can you have him be a little more loving and give her a little more respect? And the higher self will say yay or nay. And a lot of times these people will come back to me after the readings and say, it worked, my dad's really sweet now, oh my gosh. So the higher self is really up there working for you. Okay, now, I want to expand on how the higher self works for you. This part of yourself that's directly connected to the divine, this part of your consciousness that lives on the other side, how is this person working for you? Okay, what are the benefits of knowing this part of your soul exists? Well, guess what? Your higher self is up there with the collective consciousness, and it's partying with everyone else's higher self. So that means everyone up here has the same goal, the purpose of the soul. Hey, Jody and Mike, I have this path to lead over here, right? Like, how can you guys help me? How can you guys help me? How can we come together and help each other? My heart is completely broken from this breakup. I need some healing quick. Hey, John, can you walk into my life and put it back together? So these people, this collective consciousness, all these higher selves are getting together and setting intentions of how to help you on your path, how to move you forward, how to learn lessons, how to have your soul grow, and healing, which is very, very important. Healing. So they get together and they set intentions, and then your spirit guides, which are below your higher self, it's like the CEO and then the managers down here. They get together, and once they do set an intention, once they do form an alliance, say they form an alliance, their spirit guides get together and then start nudging you, poking you, and getting you guys to come onto each other's paths and help each other, right? So they're setting goals and intentions. Another thing I want you to know is that these guys can influence you energetically, right? So your lower self is down here. They can influence you energetically. So I want you to put in your requests, right? Because if they can influence you energetically, if you're about to go into a job interview, you can say, hey, higher self, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to send me courage and confidence and calm. Like, make me relaxed, make me eloquent, make me say and do all the right things. So that's what you want to do. You want to put in the request with your higher self energetically. Those kind of requests are the most easy thing in the world for them, because they can send you that calming, eloquent energy to just really ace that job interview if you ask for it, and keep yourself open to receiving that energy. Now, another thing I want to bring to your attention is the collective consciousness. Now, if all these higher selves are up here hanging out, guess what they're doing? They're looking down at you. They're looking down at your lower self. So all these lower selves, because these are all connected, right? These are higher selves, lower selves. All these lower selves are hanging out. Let's say these guys are all hanging out at a party together, right? All your higher selves are up here hanging out together. So suppose you see a guy that you really like. There's no need to sit there and like arch your back and stick your boobs in his face and be like, notice me, notice me, notice me. Put your request in. Sit there and say, hey, Ben's higher self, can you do me a favor? Can you have this dude notice me? And if Ben agrees, if Ben thinks that you would be good for him on his path, Maybe he'll nudge his higher self, obviously depending on their connection. Maybe Ben will nudge his higher self so he comes up and starts talking to you at the party and flirting with you and being open to your energy. So you see how these higher selves see everything? There is a part of Ben's soul that knows every single hair on your head. He knows what you had for breakfast this morning. He knows that you have a cat. So that's how we're all truly connected. And I'll make other videos giving examples of the higher self and the collective consciousness, because I don't want to make this video too long. It's already really convoluted. But these people see every aspect of your soul because they can see all of your energy centers. They can see, Ben can see your heart. He can see your integrity. He can see if you're an honest person or not. And he can see whether or not you're good for him. So his higher self is up here looking at you. So that's why I always encourage people, you know, just if you want to join the Peace Corps, people are watching. If you want to have ethics in business, I always remind people that there's karma in business too. By all means, people are watching. If you just gave your lunch to that homeless guy in the corner, people noticed it. People are watching. It's all of the collective consciousness that is watching you, essentially. So that's why I want you to really focus on being secure in yourself and really step back into your own shoes instead of trying to control everything. Really kind of put yourself back into your body and come from a place of, you know, peace and calm, and just put in your request to the other side because they are paying attention and they are watching. Now, another thing is that they have the plan. It's like the Adjustment Bureau with their little book and the blinking dots. That's actually pretty true. I liked that movie. They have the plan, so they can tell you, yeah, you're going to move in 6 months, or yeah, this is really what we want to have happen. I've had my higher self just sit there and tell me stuff that made me cry, and she just sat there staring at me saying, this is good for you. This is good for you. I don't know what to tell you. It's for your highest good. So they do have the divine plan. They're going to lead you forward down your path with pieces of popcorn. They're not going to tell you how your life is going to go. They're not going to dump the whole bowl of popcorn on your head. So they're not going to give you everything, but they'll give you bits and pieces of information to where tuning into them, and that's actually what I wanted to say, is if you wanted to meditate and set the intention prior to your meditation for connecting with your higher self, sit there and say, hey, universe, I want to connect to my higher self, and then see if you can get them to show up and talk to you so that you can download that information from them and ask them questions. So another thing is the influence that they have over you is really for your highest good. They're going to send you thoughts and feelings and emotions. If you are sitting across from somebody on the metro and this person is very, very good for you, and they know that this person's really going to help you on your path, they're going to start sending you thoughts and feelings. Talk to him, 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 talk to him. You know, oh, whoops, you dropped your purse and he picked it up and handed it to you. Now you can talk to him because they're desperate to bring this person onto your path to help you with your purpose. Now, another part of the way they influence you is, I'll use myself as an example. They didn't want me dating this guy anymore. They said that he wasn't good for me or my soul or my path. He was eventually going to reject me for my gift, and they didn't want that. They thought I had experienced enough in that department. So they were protecting me. And I'm like, dude, he's sweet. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. So I kept dating him, and the next time I was kissing him, in the middle of kissing him, I all of a sudden felt like I was kissing my brother. So that was my higher self. I was feeling quite like the Avatar that day, but I know it was for my highest good. So my higher self did come through and just all of a sudden make me feel like I was kissing my brother so that I would go home. I left. I excused myself and I left. I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta go. So they do that for your own good. Car accident. I avoided a car accident by my higher self just screaming at me, just yelling at me, put your sunglasses on now. And I went and dug through my console, put my sunglasses on, and was able to delay my car from entering an intersection where a white Yukon had run the red light at full speed. Probably would have killed me because it was going to hit my driver's side door at full speed. So they are able to turn up the microphone pretty loud in my ear when it's a life or death situation. Now another thing I want to let you know, guess who's hanging out up here with these are all the lower selves, right? These are all the higher selves. Now guess who's hanging out up here with your higher selves? Your deceased loved ones. Have you ever wondered why the deceased loved ones, when they come through and they're crying, they're usually crying for you? That's what I usually channel. I usually channel compassionate crying when I channel deceased loved ones. They're crying for you because they see your struggles and they want to help and they can't, and they see your pain. But they themselves are actually pretty complacent when I channel them. Why are your deceased loved ones complacent? Because they're hanging on the other side with your higher self. They're hanging out with the most perfect part of you. So your deceased loved ones are with your higher self. So just know that they're hanging out together. I left the animal hospital after I had just put my cat down. He actually passed from kidney failure. And I was devastated. I'm a medium, and I was devastated, so I can imagine how it is for everybody else. I can talk to my cat whenever I want. But he was, my fur-covered son, and I was devastated. So as I'm driving home from the hospital, the first image they show me is my higher self petting my cat Toby. And so I knew everything was going to be okay. And so that was their way of saying, it's okay. He's with your higher self. Your higher self is taking care of him. And I often see that. They show that to me actually all the time. It's meant to make you feel better. Okay, now another thing that I just wanted to bring up based on this collective consciousness, everyone can hear you. I was in the store the other day listening to a song and I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman is about as good of a singer as I am. Her voice is, it sounds hollow, it's driving me crazy. I can't stand her voice. I felt her higher self show up in my stomach and get upset. Why? Because we're all connected. We're all part of the collective consciousness, and I can channel people's higher selves. So I felt her show up and I was like, whoops. So what's my point? Don't talk smack, because we're all connected. So don't talk smack. Don't gossip about people, because when you gossip about people and you speak negatively about them, oh, we are all magnets. So what are you doing? You're attracting negative energy to yourself by speaking negatively of those people. So it's really important to keep your thoughts and emotions positive. So that's what I want you guys to do. I really want you to try to connect with your higher selves if you can, because I tried to point out all the benefits and how they really are up there working for you and kind of helping you along your path. So being cognizant of their existence really does help you. And in the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you.